Hey guys, it's been quite some time since I've shown you my cacti and succulent collection, and as you can see, it's quite downsized. So what's happened is I haven't replaced things as they've died. I just don't have a lot of room by my windows inside during the winter for them to thrive. So these are the survivors and the ones that I still look after and enjoy. And they're the toughest plants that can handle the less than ideal conditions that are offered to them over the winter. And I have had to take some drastic measures on a couple of them to try to save them. But let me show you what I've got left here. I would say most of these have been repotted in a mixture of half good potting soil and half sand. So let me show you down here. The adeniums, or otherwise commonly known as desert rose, are starting to leaf out. They haven't looked good in some time now, so hopefully the summer will perk them up and they'll flush out. We'll see what happens. This was trimmed. It had some etiolation at the top, so I just trimmed that off. It also had some minor mealybugs, and I removed as many as I could through the prickles, but I think spiders and outdoor insects have come along and removed that. So that's a nice way to control your mealybugs, is put them outside and let the spiders take care of it. So we'll see how that does. That's a Parodia or Nodocactus magnificus. And I cut the top off and put it over here, right under the adenium. I think that one will survive for sure. And then next to it, I have another cutting from another plant. And I think that one is from this mammillaria. And I didn't want to throw this base away. What you're seeing is a little perlite on there, not mealybugs. But I did cut the top off again. It was misshapen. But it looked alive. It's still green. Although this looks horrible, it might give me cactus pups. So we'll see what happens with that. That one is getting new leaves in the center, and as that happens, the older leaves are dying off. So I've just been removing those as I see them. But it looks like it's flushing out at the top with some new leaves. And then we have a little mammillaria here, and that was in a tiny pot. And guys, all of this soil was so dry. It was holding nothing. I'm sure there were no nutrients left, so they were long overdue for the repot that they got. By the way, there's another little tiny cutting down there. And some of these plants that looked horrible did have some nice cactus pups. So if that was the case, I took them off and just placed them right on top of the sand here under the adeniums. This one, I'm quite sure I still have prickles in my hands from repotting. It is an Opuntia honey mic. It's like a microdiasis type of Opuntia. And those glochids are just deadly. They're so hard to get out of your hands. This one I should probably put in its own little area. I think I'll go ahead and do that now. It still has something going on the top, so I'm going to put it over here, away from the others. But again, I'm hoping some of the outdoor creatures will come along and eat whatever's bugging that one, and I'm hoping that the repot makes it a healthier plant. And here's another mammillaria, silver arrows, and it looks like it's fasciated. It has two tops here that have kind of fused together. It's quite interesting. So as you can see, the bottom looks quite terrible, almost dead, but it's just kind of quirky and old. And but at the top, it's trying to survive. That's the amazing thing about cacti and succulents. It can start to die, and the first thing it will do is put out a new pad or a new pup and try to regenerate itself and continue on. So I think that's what's happened here. And I could possibly trim it underneath and root that into a new pot if I feel like that would be best for the plant. But it is interesting how it became fasciated at the top. It's almost like two pups fused together. And then the Opuntia are very easy to restart. This one was kind of falling over, and I just cut the top off, which I believe is that part, and popped it in. So that's an Opuntia basilaris. I had gotten one pad off of eBay a few years ago. So obviously that's a tough one that's hanging in there. And now I've sort of doubled my plant size there. And this one is an Opuntia violacea. And it's really pretty. When it gets a lot of sun, it turns purple. So I'm hoping that that one really starts to bounce back. And then this one is looking quite dry, but this I completely dismantled into a whole bunch of different pieces. These are the two main pieces, and then I took off all the pups and sunk them down into the potting medium. And hopefully it's going to be a fuller plant. It looks quite terrible now, but I'm hopeful. So that is an Opuntia Johnson's hybrid. I think it's a quitensis, Opuntia quitensis. So we'll see if I can get that one back to health. I think these are gymnocalyciums, and hopefully they seem to already be greening up. Again, they were in horrible potting soil, so being replanted, and then about a week after replanting, I gave these all a really nice drink of water. And of course, now that they're out in the polytunnel, they're getting lots of sun. And this one is immediately responding to the repot. This is an Opuntia, and I'm not sure what type this is, but right away it's getting a new pup here, and a new pad, and new growth up here as well. And then I have these two. These are Nodocactus Lenonhausii, these two, and they both got very etiolated. Actually, one of them belongs to a friend of mine, and one of them was my own. But she brought it over and said, "What's happening to my cactus?" And it was all misshapen at the top and skinny. So I just did away with the top of these, and we'll see how they respond. They actually look greener and happier. So we'll see if they make arms or pups, and we'll keep an eye on that. But I just sliced the top of the cactus off with a clean knife, and I put cinnamon on it, and that part's dried out, and it will most likely regenerate itself by putting out pups. The same thing happened over here. My Pilocereus, it's some kind of cereus. I think it's an Azura. But it was looking quite terrible at the top, so I just went ahead and chopped it off, and I cut it down by 2/3. So we'll see if that one pups out. And I have some Trichocereus cuttings. They actually like a lot of water, so I'll have to make sure to keep that watered. But that has had its challenges as well. This is another Pilocereus here, and that one looks like it's plumping out. And then back here, I'm not sure what these are, but there's some kind of cylindrical cactus. And the one in the back as well. Those are doing really well. Again, everything got a repot, and I'm hoping they'll appreciate more nutrients and a nice gritty soil medium. And then in the back, my Pilocereus Azura, my large one, is looking terrific. And I have some, I'm not sure what these are. I've forgotten the name of them. But they're doing okay. These are super, super fuzzy, and I think they're originally from a part of the world that is so hot and sunny that they have to create this fur jacket. It's almost like a fur jacket. It's a wonderful little plant. But it just kind of stays the same size all the time. Maybe it'll appreciate its new potting medium. And this one looks great, but look guys, look how green it is at the top. If we turn it around here, you can see something did a number on it. But yet, it continues to grow. So that's what I love about cacti. They're just very resilient. They'll continue to grow, and I could take a cutting, but it actually looks okay from this side, so I'll just keep it as it is for now. And then this is my pencil cactus back here. This is the one I'm always worried about. It's a euphorbia, and it can blind you if you get the sap in your eye. So I'm really always nervous about keeping that in the house. But it does well for me. It's a pretty easy plant. It's been less fussy than a lot of my other plants that have gone by the wayside. So it's quite large in that back corner. And then over here, I'm trying to nurse some of my aloes, and I have Burrow's Tail Cactus, which I just repotted, looking quite terrible. But this was my atrocious aloe repot. I think I did it last year, and it's gotten quite tall. I may end up taking more cuttings of that this year. And all of these will get a repot next. They're next in line. But as you can see, some of these aloes have a long trailing habit. This one's doing really well. And some of them, when you bring them out, they do turn this darker color just because of the change of light. It's a bit of a stress signal. But it's doing well. This is a zebra aloe here. It doesn't look that great, but I think once I repot it, I'll plant it deeper, and of course new soil will help. And then I have a type of Ripsalis back here, which is covered with new little babies, so I'm excited to see that. That one gets smaller every winter and then regrows back. So again, regenerating itself when the conditions are right. And then here are just a couple of gangly jade plants. And this one was from my friend who gave me the other cactus. So I popped that into a little pot. And then I just have an assortment of aloe and haworthia in here. Some of those my sister gave me. Some are doing better than others, but it's a cute little assortment. That's a gasteria. And it looks dry, so I'm guessing the soil isn't quite right. It's old soil, so all of these have to be refreshed. But I have, you know, 2 aloes over here. And I think once I refresh them, they'll do a lot more growing this season. But guys, that's it. It is an abbreviated collection. I spend a lot of time tending my garden. And like I said, I really don't have a great sunny spot to keep them over those winter months. So they suffer quite a bit, and these are just the toughest ones that can handle these less than ideal conditions. And I wish I had a sunnier location inside, and overwintering didn't kill so many. But these have been out, like I said, for about 6 weeks. I think they're responding to the fresh air and sunshine and a new potting medium. So hopefully maybe next month I can give you an update and show you some new growth and show you the progress and let you know how they've appreciated some recent TLC. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you're enjoying your plant collections. And I'm going to get busy next week on the aloe and succulent repotting. I'll see you next time.